Got back from a self-car wash with a power washer. Got about 30 pounds of mud off of this thing. And, you know, sorry about the rapid fire Astro van videos. Can they come any faster? But as I was cleaning this up and looking underneath and doing a little work under there, detailing and spraying some things with WD-40, I realized, you know, it might be better if I showed you what I was actually talking about. And by the way, save your cardboard. You can lay on that when you're under the vehicle. It makes life a little bit easier. So this is the idler arm, that spacer, AC Delco part there. And let's point out a couple of the things I was talking about in the video yesterday. So you have a visual, okay? So this is your lower control arm. There's a control arm bushing right in here. There's one on the other side. You've got your upper control arm that you can see the blue boot right here on the ball joint. This loop here is part of the upper control arm, and that connects to the frame up in here, right there. So I've had those bushings replaced. Okay. Now on the lower ball joint, you'll notice, you see the blue boot. That denotes the heavy-duty version of the AC Delco part. And you notice these bolts here. Coming from the factory, it's riveted, and you have to drill those out. And I attempted to do that myself. I was down here with a drill, and I could not get it. It was a bitch. So I brought it to his shop. Guy did it. When I went to pick it up from him, he was rolling his eyes, complaining how hard it was. But he didn't charge me any more money, so that was nice. You can see the shock. It's a Rancho RS 9000, I believe. These shocks were on the van when it came to me. And, you know, there's all kinds of noise. Here's a helicopter. I got a guy sanding in the background. I got loud people talking about their bad marriages as they walk by. And it's almost impossible to film anything around here. I did just paint this front cross member here on the van. It was had some surface rust, so wanted to touch that up, make it look nice. Always bothers me to see rust under here. You see that kind of looks like $1 million now. And, you know, like I said, I brought this to the power washer, and I was just climbing around underneath here, kind of cleaning things out. And I noticed a few things. Also wanted to just show off some stuff here. So, kind of wiped out this back area, and I was cleaning this seal out up here. Wanted to check this. Everybody complains that there's leaks. Mine doesn't. I cleaned that out. But behind this one, there was a bunch of crud I scraped out of there. Well, with this thing. I picked this up. It's a great brush for just brushing out the carpet, brushing out the stuff off the back of your van. It's nice and convenient because your hand's up here on a handle, so that's kind of nice. But if your van seals are not leaking, go back and inspect them and clean them out real well, because that will preserve them. Just a tip, a little extra tip. Now, get a look under here. Didn't bring my cardboard. So these are the S10 springs. They got that big thick piece of metal there. I have to wipe some of that down still. But I did spray everything down with WD-40. It's just something I like to do. I've got friends back home. They get these new vehicles. They live at the beach, and you crawl around under them, and they're rusting out. Frames are going, and they never take the time to just spray things down with some WD-40. One of the other things you want to do is, see all that mud up here? I will take the time to get the mud out of here. And even see that. You know, I thought I did a pretty good job getting everything out. You want to get stuff like this out from your frame, because that will trap moisture and then your car will rust. Another shot of the S10 spring. Rancho shocks. That rear end was coated with a bit of surface rust when I got this van. Now it looks pretty good just from spraying some WD-40 on there from time to time. There's still mud in here. I mean, this thing was caked with mud. How do you four-wheelers clean this stuff? This is crazy. There's not a crap in here. Look at this. So I've got to do all that. Kind of a bummer. Four-wheeling's fun, but cleaning up after, it's a bitch. Anyhow, just wanted to show that stuff off to you. And point out the upper and lower control arms. See if there's anything else here I missed. I know it's not a super pro video, but you get the drift here. Your upper control arm. Oh, here's the spacing under the oil pan, between the oil pan and the axle. So that's what you get after you put the replacement polyurethane bushings in your engine mounts. I shimmed it originally. You see a shim here. And I just left them in place. There's a shim underneath this bracket because I put new engine mounts on and it sagged 2 days later, and then I did that to create a space. But I eventually had to replace the engine mounts because I was getting a rubbing. Yeah, let's just show this off here. You got this pulley here, right? And what happens is if your engine sags, that pulley ends up rubbing your center link here with your linkage. And it sounds like hell, and nobody can figure out what it is. But that's all it is, just that your motor's sagging. Don't know how much of this I'm showing off correctly, so I apologize. So once you get the correct engine mounts in there, get the right spacing. Of course, you know I did mine, and I added a plate up in there. So there's a plate underneath my engine mount that I fabricated by hand. It's steel. I cut it with a grinder. Did a real neat job, painted everything black. And that got my motor to the correct space. So, you know, that's what things look like under here. There's your control arm here, lower control arm, and that's the bushing. And they squeaked a little, so I also rubbed some grease on there. Upper and lowers, took care of that problem. And, you can see there's still some mud under here. There's a lot of mud up under here. Still, it's going to be kind of a bitch to get all that out of there, but you got to do it. You don't want to leave that mud there trapping moisture, especially on the East Coast. Better look at that ball joint here. That's your upper control arm, upper ball joint, and again, the blue booty denotes the heavy-duty version. Anyhow. Oh.